Good morning, fathers of daughters. This is Ephraim B. Martin. I am 58 years of age, and I am a girl dad. I am back for another live stream, and I welcome all fathers. And I just want to congratulate you and thank you for being the best dads that you can be. So thank you, fathers. Um, what I want to talk about today is I want to discuss the second stage of development for our daughters, which is ages 11 to 13. And fathers in this stage, 11 to 13, our daughters are now entering middle school, which in itself is going to be quite the challenge for many of us because it's a new transition. They are no longer in primary school, first through fifth grade. They are now entering the sixth grade, seventh and eighth grades. And this is going to be a new transition for our daughters. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner, I have a banner of my book, which is called Daddy's Girls, which can be purchased at Amazon.com. And feel free to purchase it so we can have some further discussion and deeper discussions regarding fathers of daughters. Now, fathers, I'm going to give you a heads up. When it comes to the stage of 11 to 13 years of age, our daughters are going to change because they are entering middle school. I was a probation officer, worked in the criminal justice system for 20 years, and also worked in K-12 education for 10 years. So my daughters, once they enter middle school, I was actually a teacher and became a dean of students. So this is another critical stage of development for our daughters. Their bodies are going to be changing. Their bodies are going to be growing. They're going to be developing. And this is not the time for most fathers to check out and pretend like it's not happening, because it is going to happen. And if you've built a good relationship with your daughters from birth to 10 years of age, this next stage of development, it shouldn't be as difficult. It's definitely going to be challenging, because what happens to many of our little girls when they enter middle school is they get lost in the transition of middle school, which means that they're taking on new friends. And since most little girls are very, very territorial, they fall out with a lot of their friends that were maybe childhood friends, because their childhood friends are getting new friends, they're getting new friends. And little girls are very, very competitive at this stage. This is the stage that I call the mean girl stage, where 95% of our daughters are going to be exposed to mean girls. That's just what it is. So it's going to be very, very important for us as fathers to make sure that we are part of their daily life. One of the things that you want to pay attention to as a father once your daughter gets to middle school is definitely pay attention to her mood. And if her mood is changing, if her behaviors are changing, because this is the stage of development where most little girls, when they're having issues with their body because it's growing, this is where they tend typically to isolate their fathers the most, not want to speak with their fathers, not want to talk with their fathers, because they're going to tell you you don't know what's going on with them. And they're little girls and they prefer their mom. So don't take it personal, dads. Just hang in there with them and, transition with them. Okay. Also, what happens to a lot of our little girls once they get to middle school is there's a hierarchy that happens with most little girls. Typically, if they have friends that are in seventh and eighth grade girls, those are the popular girls. So a lot of our girls get caught up in that being popular, and that's when the mean girls come in. And little girls are great at isolating. And this is where a lot of the bullying takes place with our daughters as well. This is also the stage where a lot of our daughters, they're just going to shut down and they're not going to want to talk to us. They're going to be mad at us for a variety of reasons, because they're little girls, because they're emotional. They're going to have emotional highs and they're going to have emotional lows, but we cannot take anything personal. But we have to make sure, dads, we have to pay attention to their behaviors, because if their behaviors change, that means that something is going on with them. And the last thing you want is your daughter to end up in the criminal justice system. Okay? As a former state of Colorado juvenile probation officer, I am telling you, you do not want your daughter being involved in the criminal justice system, because what happens is if your daughter ends up in the criminal justice system, the whole family becomes a part of the criminal justice system. If you end up having a daughter that goes into gets a crime and ends up on probation, the entire family is on probation. Okay? This is not to be toyed with or played with. So I am very serious about this. We have to make sure that our daughters never, ever end up or become a part of the criminal justice system, because the criminal justice system will only teach them the bad things. Nothing good can come out of the criminal justice system for our daughters. Also, this is the transition 11 to 13, where a lot of our daughters, they just, they're spending more time with their friends and less time at home. Their peer group becomes their focus the majority of the time. And, you're just going to see a lot of different changes physically with your daughters as well as them growing mentally. Okay. But as fathers, we have to make sure that we continue to be their advocates, their best advocates for them. Because at this stage, a lot of our daughters, they think that they know everything and we know nothing. We just exist as parents. I can't prepare you for that, fathers, because it's going to happen. So it's good. Just hang in there, though. And like I said, this transition, you have to be willing to transition with them. Also, validation is big at this age of development. Make sure that you're speaking with your daughters on a daily basis. Make sure that you're looking at their school calendars to ensure that they're doing all their work at school. Make sure they're getting their homework done. Make sure you're doing the homework with them. That's one of the things I did with all of my daughters from first grade, from kindergarten actually, all the way up to ninth grade. And then once they got to high school, I backed off. But I made sure that they had their same study habits and their same routine that they had at the primary grades of K through 5, because middle school is going to open up a whole different can of worms, right? And we just have to be prepared as best we can. They're going to become a lot more choosy in what they like and what they don't like. They're going to challenge us more as fathers. They're probably not going to want to hang out with us as much as they did when they were in K through 5. And that's okay, because that's part of the transition. So fathers, never take any of this personal. Once again, don't take it personal. Also, like I said, be as involved with their school, know their teachers, know their routine. That's the most critical thing, is just making sure that their behavior is pretty consistent, okay? Excuse me. Because they're getting new friends. And since they're spending most of their time at school, on average, probably about 8 hours a day, their peer group collectively will make decisions for them. So we have to make sure we know who their friends are. We need to make sure we know who their parents are. And we definitely have to make sure that we attend all their back to parent school nights. We have to make sure we're there. This is not just the mother's responsibility, fathers. We have to make sure we're active and being a part. If you have to make separate appointments for back to school nights because you're working and your wife's are working and you can't be there together, do 2 separate appointments. with the teachers. Teachers are always willing and able to meet with parents. Okay. So once again, it's about resources, fathers. Um, Middle school, they're growing. And like I said, um, you definitely need to be talking with them about little boys and relationships. I encourage no father to ever allow their daughter to have a boyfriend before the age of 16. Okay. If you allow your daughter to date at 12 years of age, you get what comes with that. Okay. And as a former state juvenile probation officer, I am telling you, before the age of 16, it is not good. That is not a good thing. So, um, just make sure that you're diligent. Make sure you're on top of things. You don't need to be overbearing with them, but listen to them. Get to know who their friends are. Very, very important, because you're going to be a big time chauffeur. Picking up friends, dropping off friends. Your daughters aren't going to tell you who's coming by the house, who you're taking home. That's just part of being a middle schooler, teenage girl. That's what they do. We're always the last to find out about a lot of different things. Their fathers, right? And but definitely allow them to have their space, because they're going to demand that they need space. And like I said, it's a totally different transition. So it's going to be challenging for us dads, and continue to grind and continue to become a better father. Once again, if you're married, listen to your wives. Make sure they're included. If you're divorced, or if you're a single father, make sure those lines of communication with the mothers of your daughters are open. And make sure you never say anything bad about the mothers of your daughters, because it's not good for the daughters to hear any bad things said about their mother. Nothing good can come out of that. Okay, we have to work with their mothers, not be against their mothers. So with that being said, fathers, there's not much that I need to cover. And once again, I appreciate you. And we're going to continue to work and become better dads. All right, until next time, I'm gonna holla at you. Peace.